everyone. Thank you for coming. Today what we're going to do is, we haven't had an all-hands meeting in quite some time, but today what we're going to do is talk about training for fiscal year 17. One thing we talked about in the last year are our initiatives. And our initiatives tie to a lot of things. And this first initiative that we have, everybody still has their tag, or it's about investing in our people. So that's the focus of this all-hands meeting, is investing in our people and the things that we're going to have for FY17 coming on. Maria's going to go into some details about how that came about, the background as far as the training that we have. And if you're not aware, every fiscal year we have sometimes a rush of funding at the end of the year, and we're scrambling to do good things with it. So here we decided to purchase training, and quite a bit of training. With that, the thing with that though, if you purchase the funding, if you use this year's funding for training, it has to be accomplished by the end of first quarter. So that means every week, starting next week, till the end of December, mid-December, we have training every week. So there's opportunities for classes, courses for you to take. Like I said, Maria's going to go into more details into that. So I'll hand over to Maria.
Great, thank you, Denise. This indeed is a very exciting time for the Service Center, and this is really the first time we've ever had an all-hands meeting that talks about training. And as Denise said, investing in our people, we take that very seriously. And as part of that, I'm going to cover what's called the Training Advisory Council. I don't think a lot of you have heard about that. Talk a little bit about that. And then last but not least, Edward Grant is going to come up here and talk about all the training that's going to be happening from now until December. Okay. As I mentioned, we stood up, I want to say, about the June timeframe, what was called the Training Advisory Council. And I'll go through the names of the folks. So I'm the management sponsor for the group. Larry Ayers, who's from QCG, Kathy Turner, who is from ASG, who's our training manager, Tricia Holt from BSG, Paul Lohr, OSG, Edward Grant and Andrea Copeland are our subject matter experts, and they are both from ASG. And then our ad hoc members are Claudia Pagan, who is from OSG, and then Teresa White and Sabrina Jensen, who are also from ASG. And we stood the TAC up because we knew that there was basically a problem that needed to be solved. And that problem that needed to be solved, and Denise alluded to that, is that every year, usually at the end of the year, we get a lot of money. And then the group managers and the managers, we sit in a room and then we make a determination on the type of training that we're going to buy. We're successful in buying that training, but are we buying the right training? And that's the problem that we've been trying to solve. Are we buying the right training? Because you'll hear from our partners, both from the ATS side as well as the Tech Ops side, that we don't have, when you start looking at our technical writing, the writing that we do, we have some gaps there. We also have gaps in how we do analysis. So therefore what we did was we stood the TAC up and we started looking at this and how can we solve this problem in regards to buying the appropriate training for the employees here at the Service Center. And then what we did was, after that, after we started looking at that, we started developing recommendations for end-of-year training. I'll tell you how we actually looked at and decided what type of training. We'll get to that in a minute. And then also from that, we also developed what's called a leadership pilot program. And we'll talk about that later. So these are just some of the high-level accomplishments that this group has done within the last 90 days. And we've done a lot as a group. Okay, so what we did was the group managers got together along with the other managers in the Service Center, and we had to look at the competencies of all the employees here. And so based on that, after we did that analysis, there was two key areas, technical and non-technical training. Okay? So when you started looking at the competencies, as I said a little bit ago, technical writing was a gap. And we also had gaps in what's called the training program administration, which was basically how do we do employee development, right? And then organizational strategic support is how we actually develop organizational goals. So those were the technical areas that we had gaps in across the service center. And then on the non-technical, we looked at external and organizational awareness, political savvy, and then of course, quantitative and qualitative analysis. So you're going to hear a lot of that from the managers as well as the group managers, is that we have to do better in how we do our analytics for our partners. So gone are the days, and I think we talked about this before, is I give you an Excel spreadsheet that has numbers on it, and you give that to a director, and what do I do with that information? What does that tell me about my business? Can I make any business decisions? What do I do with it? So the training that we're going to be providing will help in all these areas, both on the technical and non-technical competencies that we took a look at. One of our other things that we looked at too was, we have a group within the service center, I like to call, we have like 3 18s, our secretaries, our admin support, and some of our management program analysts in E, F, G, and H, E, F, and G bands. Leadership starts at that level. And what can we do for this group of folks who want to move up within the service center but don't have any opportunities or any set of any type of training for them to be able to develop those leadership skills. So the TAC, along with Andrea Copeland, who actually led this piece, came up with a 9-month program for, it's called Eastern Service Center Involving Leaders, on a 9-month pilot. And what's really exciting about this, and Andrea will talk about, well, she's not here today, but more will be coming out on that. There'll be an actual project that the folks in this program will be actually working on for the service center and presenting to the rest of the group. Also part of that program, they will also have other developmental type training to help them build their leadership competencies. And then also, they'll have to apply for it. So there'll be more information coming on that. But that was also another accomplishment from the TAC. And what does this all lead to? It all leads to investing in our people, everything that the Training Advisory Council has done so far for the beginning of FY17. So with that said, I'm going to introduce Ed Grant, and he's going to go through all the training classes that we have for the Service Center starting next week.
Good afternoon. I want to thank Maria because I have been at the training program for 3 years. Nobody knew who I was. So now everybody knows who's sitting on the email saying that you didn't do your training. It's me. So if you have a problem, I drive a black Nissan Titan with a cowboy plate on the front of it.
Like that?
Okay, we went out and, like Will said, we went out and looked at a lot of the different courses that would fit what they were trying to do. And I think we spent maybe about $150,000 on training. So we wanted to get the group's input on, what they wanted and everything. And this is what you got. The first course is Developing Analytical Skills. It's a two-part series, two-part course. That's going to be, you take 3 days of it, and then you have a project to do in the middle of it, and you'll come back and do another part. And we're going to have 3 sessions of that. We have a business analyst certification. That's going to be 4 courses. And at the end of it, you'll be able to get certified as a business analyst. And the clear writing course was for the people who does all that writing, kind of help you get through all that kind of stuff. It's clear writing through critical thinking. We have a problem-solving course. It's also going to be 2 sessions. Essentials of Project Manager. For the non-project manager, 2 sessions. And taking on greater responsibility, step-up skill for non-managers, and strategic thinking. Then we're going to bring in a speaker, Mr. Steve McCatchy. He's an author. He's wrote this great book, and it's supposed to be a bestseller. And he's going to do a leading relationship piece, and it's going to be 2 parts on that as well.
Can you bring that back for a second, that one class?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So this class in particular, I want everybody to realize, this class is for everybody here in the service center. This is just not reserved for management. So, and it's going to be held here in the auditorium.
Second day.
Second day?
First day
Okay.
is the movie.
Okay, so I want you to keep that in mind, because this, I know David did this for for leadership offsite, and it was a very, very good course. But we decided that this would be great, not just for managers, but also for all the employees in the service center to attend.
So this is what my world looks like. First course starts next week, and it goes all the way through December the 21st. Take a look. Get with your managers, let them know which one you want to take. It's between 18 to 25 slots in each course. Why? We believe the Service Center support achieved through active partnership is critical to delivering the safest and most efficient aerospace system in the world. That's the reason we do this. Again, my name is Phil Bettis. Thank you.
I thought you were trying to coach with Anthony Graham.
So his name is not Phil Bettis. DWARD FAA.gov. Just make sure you know. And I'll address April in a second. So, as you saw, there is a lot of training. It's about investing in our people. The one thing that we are asking each and every one of you, when you sign up, that you are committed to attending these classes. As Edward stated, we have $150,000 worth of training. I've been in this service center and I've been in ASG as a group manager for 4 years, and this is the first time I have seen this amount of money spent in training. So it is truly an investment in our people. And I know Galen, as a former training manager, I think you would agree this is the most training we have bought in a long, and Lisa, you were in training too. It's the most training we have bought in a very long time. And truly, again, I can't stress this enough about the commitment once you sign up to make sure that you go. The other piece of that is that I have to commend Edward. Edward has spent a lot of time working with the Training Advisory Committee and doing the research for all this training to make sure that, one, it fit the competencies where we have gaps, and that the training is appropriate for us. So I thank you so very much. The Service Center appreciates that, not just me.
Thank you. I'm ecstatic about the training. My question is, there's so many of the classes that I like. Well, first, how will you determine, since there's only 25 or so slots, who will be able to go to which class? Is it going to be on a first come, first served basis? And will the managers be committed to releasing the employees for those 2 and 3 day classes?
So what we're asking we're working on that right now because of the amount we have, especially next week, because we actually have a class next week. What's the first one called? Yeah, just back it up.
Developing analytical skills. 3 days.
October 4th.
Okay, we'll look at it on the small screen here, okay.
That's it.
All right, I don't know how to make that bigger. So developing analytical skills, and that again. So just to reiterate on this specific class is that it's a 2-part class. So if you commit to that first week, you need to commit to the second week because there is no makeup for that. Absolutely no makeup for that. And there is a certificate that you do receive at the end of that class. So the managers are currently working on that right now. And what they're going to be doing by either the end of today or tomorrow is sending that up to Edward so he can roll it up and then take a look at it and to see how many people are going to be actually attending that class. As I said earlier, each of you, all the employees need to be talking with their managers because we're not going to accept employees just sending their names to Edward. It's going to be worked through everybody's manager. 44s and the 343s. Let's start developing them now. And hence we started working on a developmental program. So we have what's called the Program for Emerging Leaders, right? We already have that out there. And so we said, why don't we use some of that, the premise of that program, and then take that pieces of that and put a program here in the Eastern Service Center for these folks that don't necessarily have that opportunity to apply. So that's how this program was born. And so there will be IDPs, learn how to do your IDPs, there will be all sorts of other training that will be available. And I think I said earlier that I think it's like in the third quarter where they'll be given a project or a problem that the service center is trying to solve and come up with recommendations, and hopefully with those recommendations that we'll be able to adopt those into the service center. We don't know what that project's going to be, but we're looking at starting that sometime in October. Andrea Copeland is the lead. She works over on the training team in ASG, and there'll be more that will be coming out. But the folks that are interested in it will have to apply, and there's an application process. And then there's some work that'll need to be done prior to even attending the class. They'll read different types of books, they'll attend different type of leadership sessions, and they'll be doing this within their own group.